Um, Hello, welcome. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm EchoMask. I make fangames. I play fangames on Twitch. Upload videos to YouTube, and that's about it.
Do you teach fan games?
Teach.
Yeah, that's like some people say they play, make, and teach fan games. I'm not sure what it means, but okay.
I guess in a way, like when I play submissions, for example, from a Wanna Maker, or like I get like games recommended, I usually comment like on what I think works and what doesn't. So like giving feedback, and that could be considered teaching, maybe. Like
Yeah.
teaching what I think goes well in a fangame, or like what counts as good design and what doesn't. So in a way, I guess, yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, I would definitely say that you teach fan games then. Um, so before we get into the fan game stuff, I'd like to ask some more, slightly more personal questions, I guess.
hmm
So
Credit card info and so on. Yeah,
yeah, and the three numbers at the back.
of course.
No, but first off, where do you live?
In Germany,
Cool. Have you lived in Germany all your life?
yeah, pretty much. Like my parents are not from Germany, but I was born and raised here, pretty much. Yeah.
Where are your parents from?
Poland.
Oh, okay. Um, how old are you?
Currently 26 years old. I'll turn 27 this year.
Okay. And what do you do when you are not playing fan games, I guess, or streaming? What's your day-to-day life?
Usually, well, if it's not fan games, I have like other games to play with people, like multiplayer games usually, or I just like chill with friends online, or I guess like meet up with people IRL. Going to like cafes, restaurants, and all that.
Okay.
Usually, there's like a bunch of like school/work stuff to do. At the moment, it's been like a little busy.
What does that entail?
Since I'm
School slash. So you study and work? Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. It's split. Like the first half of the week, I go to school, and then the second, I'm at the workplace, and I gotta like juggle tasks from both places pretty much to like get it done for the education. So it gets a little busy, which leaves me with a little room at the moment to like stream and/or make games.
Yeah. And what are you studying? And what's your job?
That's all right. Wait, uh,
Oh,
it's
you,
easiest to explain in German. Let's see.
okay.
Gotta look this up. Um,
You can answer in German, and then we'll put like a plasma napkin voiceover after where he translates.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm an educator in training, I guess.
Okay.
I work at a kindergarten,
Mm-hmm.
so like work with children, and like, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. And so that's like both your job and what you study, I guess. They're like two parts.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
practice and theory. Okay.
Yeah,
Neat. But that's pretty cool. We're both in education then. I've also
oh, hell yeah.
studied to become a teacher, although not for kindergarten kids, but for
Hmm?
like high school.
Oh, high school. Hell yeah.
Yeah. All right. So on to the fan game stuff. How did you find fan games? Where did your journey start?
Ooh, all right. So theoretically, it all started pretty randomly because I got access to the internet fairly late, because I guess private reasons. But
Okay.
my dad used to like get me some games on like a USB drive, because obviously I couldn't download anything. Like I did have a PC just without access to the internet, so it would like occasionally like get me some games that he would like find on like a website, and one of them was I Want to Be the Guy.
Okay.
It just happened to like be there, so I played it and like I couldn't really make it far. And then I did have it was strange since like I did have access to like message people on my phone by like Facebook, so it was just the connection on the computer itself. And I had a friend at the time who knew I Want to Be the Guy, and I told him I was playing it like, and I couldn't figure it out like how to get past the like spiky platform in the clouds to get to Mike Tyson. And he helped me get through it because I kind of lost interest in the game because it seemed like designed in a way that just wasn't fun for me. Like it seemed like an unfair game. But once he told me like the tricks on how like to get past the obstacles, it kind of just clicked and I kept going. Eventually beating the game and kind of just falling in love with like the physics and like the feel that the game had. And then we were talking about like, is there like a sequel? Is there like similar games to it? And then I found Gaiden, which I was like, holy shit, okay, there is a sequel, but I was very, very disappointed to find out that it's like not finished. There was like one stage. Yeah. And then somehow I like discovered the like Twitch category. I think the first stream I found was Sambla, and they told me about Delphrut and like the IWC and all that. And then boom. I appeared.
Okay, that's kind of crazy. Starting from a USB stick from your dad.
Yeah, it was completely coincidental.
Yeah. And how long did it take from when you started playing the games to when you started getting an interest for making games yourself?
That took a bit, I think. I was mainly a player at first. Also because like I had no idea that there was like an approachable way to make the games. In the past, I already had like a fascination for like making levels, but that was mostly just on my phone. There were like, you know, some basic platformer games that had like a level editor that would like make levels in. I just never considered that being a thing for fangames since they seemed so complex, since like all the visuals were like self-made and you know, I couldn't imagine there'd be like an editor for it. I had no perception of like, okay, there's this engine called, or like software called Game Maker. So I was just pretty much like enjoying to play them. And then I think it was around the time where I met Eric, who had a lot of experience with making these games. Mm-hmm. And since he was also German, you know, we got along and got friends quickly.
Naturally.
Became friends quickly. There you go. Naturally.
Yeah. I mean, he was German.
Obviously. That was the main reason. No. Yeah. And so, like, he kind of like showed me that the project he was working on. I was like, oh shit. How do you do that? And then, you know, I got introduced to Game Maker Studio first, and then I was like, okay, I want to try this. And then I made my first Needle game, maybe like a year after playing Fangames myself. So I've already played my share of Needle games at the time. So I had like an idea of like, okay, this is kind of the direction I want to go for. This is fun. Mm-hmm. And I guess before that, I dabbled with Jqck, because that was like the tool people used to just like upload, like share maps, make maps. So I guess Jqck experience first, and then trying to come up with something in Game Maker.
And what was your first game?
Oh god.
Is it like you don't want to reveal? Was it?
It's no, I mean it's oh god, it's out there. I don't think it's under my name anymore because I did have a name change. It's I Want to See the Needle, and it's it's an attempt at a Needle game, but I can't say it turned out too great. But I mean, it could have been way worse, honestly, for a first game. I think the main critique points I'd have now are like the tile sets and some generic jumps here and there. But although it doesn't use, surprisingly, it doesn't use too many of those. Usually a first game is like gate, diagonal, gate, corner.
Okay. So would you say that you still have some affection for that game? Like, do you still think fondly of it, or?
There's some positives that I can see looking at the Delphi screenshots right now, but it's not a game I would like recommend people to check out. Like yeah, if people someone recently shared their clear of this game in my server, I kind of felt embarrassed, like, oh man, I made that.
Oh yeah.
But it's not that like I don't despise it. I'm not, you know. I'm not actively hiding that I made it. It's just, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
no,
not that great.
I get you. I might have similar feelings towards some of my older games. So you said that before you started making Fangames, you were like using various level editors for games you had on your phone. Going further back in time,
God.
well, I'm not thinking just in terms of making games now, but do you feel like you've always had an interest in making levels or like building things? I mean, it could be with like Lego or I don't know.
Holy shit. I can't say I remember my childhood too well. I think so. I can't really pin down any core memories of me being like really into Lego or like building, but
Okay, no, fair enough. I mean, I think
what I do remember from my own time at when I was like in kindergarten, there were like there was a PC for some reason with like some old school retro games, and that fascinated me. But I think that that's normal, you know, as a
right.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure like people who are, you know, grew up to become gamers. Not meant to
So
that
PC was like,
derogatory.
that's where I belong. That's me.
Yeah, you just know. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I was just curious. Like, I think some people might just like have this innate drive to make things, and making fan games is like a good creative outlet. But
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. All right. Do you remember when you made See the Needle? How long ago was that?
I was. Luckily, I have the Delphi page in 2016
Oh wow, okay.
or 17 actually. When no 17, yeah, 2017.
Okay, so you would have been
It's pretty old.
you know, a measly teenager back then.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So since then, you know, you've made
Almost
a
10 years
lot
ago.
of games.
Yeah.
Is there any project that you recall working on that was like particularly fun to make?
Ooh. That's a fun question. There were a couple actually. I guess the one that came to my mind the first was I Wanna Be a Big Shot. That was was it for the first tourney or the second? I can't remember, but it was for Art's tourney event where me and Eric both wanted to make a game, and we decided to just collab on one, and that was just like the best time I had making a game, mainly because when making a game, or fan game in this case, I'm not super fond of having to, you know, come up with like visuals, tile sets, coding mechanics. I don't really excel at that. I'm mainly just, you know, I love game or like level design.
Yeah.
And since Eric usually carries the work on like tile sets and like enemy or like gimmick design, he was like, I'm gonna work on that, and then you can design the levels. He also made like half the levels, so it wasn't like he made most of the work pretty much for the game. But yeah, that was like a moment where I didn't have to worry about like, okay, how do I make this look good, because the visuals were already there and already looked amazing. Eric's style is like impeccable, and I could just like go wild with the mechanics that he cooked up with and try to design some interesting things with them.
Yeah. Did you also find that it was just like, besides, you know, splitting the work, did you also enjoy just working with someone else and like sharing ideas and that kind of thing?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah. We had like a long back and forth about how we wanted the stages to be, like what could be included, what could be the mechanics, like how would the stages connect with one another. Yeah, it's good to have someone you can like kind of like you rely on each other for like getting progress done. It like it could have. I've heard from like other sources that like collabs don't always go well. Like if one person loses motivation and then the other person feels like okay now all the weight lies on them and they have to carry the project, it can get frustrating. But since we were both motivated to make something for the tourney, that never happened and we just like kept going and made the game.
Right, and I imagine Eric has a pretty good work ethic too. Like he releases a lot of games. Yeah, yeah, that's kind of surprising then that you haven't like. Have you done many collabs since? Because I feel like a lot of the games you release lately, at least, have been solo projects. Is that true?
Yeah, most of them are. I can think of a couple of like stage submissions, which aren't really like the collab I just mentioned, because there it's like okay, you have these guidelines, and then okay, make a stage, and that's the deadline, and you make a part of a bigger game, which was Delicious Level Design Contest in this scenario. But yeah, it wasn't. I didn't have that back and forth with like another person. I didn't collab on a stage with someone, so that was like a different sort of collab where you make your own separate thing, and it just ends up being put into a larger project. But the collab with Eric felt more interactive because we talked about our vision for the game.
Yeah, is that something you would like to do more in the future? Like find someone to collab with?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Like it was a lot of fun to do that, and if two people work on a game, that just automatically usually leads to like a bigger project than if you have to do everything yourself, like the music, visuals, design. Yeah.
Do you find any benefits then to working on your own? Like, are there other upsides that you find when you work on your own?
I mean, yeah, like you having like the complete freedom, I guess, over like everything that goes into your game. Like you can pick a song you like and then try and come up with visuals that support that song. You don't have. I mean, yeah, there's no one that like steers the project like with you. Like you have like the wheel, kind of. I guess that can feel nice, where like okay, every decision is up to you. But while it can feel nice, it can also just easily feel overwhelming because there's so much to do.
Yeah.
Personally, I think it's more daunting if I look at my solo projects, because like also there's no deadline. Right? I set the deadline, so the motivation is also just sometimes there, sometimes there's none. And usually for a collab, having the other person maybe like remind you of like, hey, we should work on this again, could like give you that motivational boost that I'm lacking with some of my solo projects.
Yeah, you did mention, because you worked on the DLDC stage and you worked for the tourney with the big shot.
Yeah.
I guess, do you feel like you thrive under deadlines? Like, do you feel like you do better work when there's like an external...
I wouldn't say better work, but more work for sure. Like I wanna like get it done, right? When I participate, I don't wanna like abandon like the host, and like it's the same for the Secret Santa. Like I feel like when you sign up there, you definitely want to get the project done, even if it's like not the scope you had in mind initially. Just like you need to get it done before the deadline, and that's like the most important thing. So yeah, deadlines definitely help me with like at least putting a bow on the project and just like shipping it. Even if it doesn't have all the content that I hoped for, but
right,
it has a start and an end.
Yeah, that makes sense. And also like on the topic of motivation, because this is something that I think gets brought up a lot, and it's almost like thought of as the biggest obstacle towards making a game for a lot of people. It's like finding motivation. For you, I'm wondering, like, well, one, how do you find motivation? And I guess we can start with that. How do you find motivation?
Okay. Usually, it comes like right after playing like something exceptional, because like I can't imagine being a maker of fan games without being a player. Like just straight up being a maker and not playing them. I no, that's not me.
Yeah.
So usually, like I play a bunch of games and then I get like inspired. Like I see an idea that I'm like, oh, like I'd like to try something with that, right? I don't want to just like recreate it. I want to try to like take ideas that excite me and like build my own identity from them.
Yeah.
Kinda. And that's where like the personal expression thing comes into, because like you take an idea and you make something with it that you think is really fun, that you think people might enjoy. And the drive to make that happen, like it's the same thing for me when listening to like a Vocaloid song that goes hard, and I get this like avoidance playing in my head, and it's like, oh, this will go hard.
Yeah.
That usually never ends up happening, because making avoidances is so much harder than making needle. But it's kind of like a similar thing. Like I see some amazing gameplay, and I get these ideas that I want to like put on paper, put on a Game Maker file.
Yeah. And then on like the other, I guess, side of that coin, let's say you've been working on a project for a while, and then that kind of immediate excitement you might have had when you started that project has like started running out. Do you find that you can work without feeling that kind of motivation, or do you need to sort of refuel by, for example, playing more games?
That depends, honestly, on how much I already made for the project. Because if it's already like something sizable, like something that could be released and be called like a decently sized game, I'll have more motivation to just like return to it and like actually finish it, because there's already so much time and effort that was put into it. So why just abandon it?
Yeah.
Then there's like the decay factor, where it's like I have a project of a pretty big size lying around and just collecting dust, mainly because I made that 6-ish years ago. And returning to that project is hard, because like I look at the game and everything I made, and it just feels so outdated. Everything feels so outdated. Like this is nothing.
Right.
It's not platforming I'll make today, and that thought keeps me from finishing it. And another option would be to redesign everything, but obviously that's it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, imagine being plasma napkin and like balloons. The
God.
platforming in balloons was designed like 13 years ago.
That's true. So yeah, that makes it kind of tough. But like, eventually, sometimes I also just need a break from making. I stream games again, and I play something again that gives me like a new idea for like a stage I could add to the project, and then it kind of gets rolling again. But yeah, it's a very like time-consuming task. So especially during the time where I have like a lot of school stuff to worry about and like exams, I feel less inclined to use the time to work on a game.
But when you work on a game, do you typically enjoy it?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yes, but it also depends what the project is. Like if it's the old project from 6 years ago, it's not that fun. If it's like a collab I agree to, that where it's like, okay, I gotta get this done in like 2 months for like an event, the motivation is bigger, because like I know that's gonna be people are relying on this game to have for the event, and I can make something fresh, up to date, kind of.
Right. You can make something that's sort of based on like what excites you in that moment, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're having fun making, do you find it sort of the process of level design and like the like potential satisfaction you can find from designing something good? Do you find that aspect more fun, or do you find the idea of releasing the game and watching other people play it and talk about it? What's sort of more important to you, I guess?
Oh, okay.
Is it a strange
both,
question?
Obviously, no, it's not. But obviously, both play a role. But when I'm making a game, I'm not thinking about like the watching other people play it aspect. I'm more thinking like, okay, who am I making this for?
Yeah.
And like, I just wanna make something that they can think fondly of. Like when I make another game for like the fast like blind needle race, I want to make a game that the races will enjoy and have fun with, something that'll benefit the event.
Yeah.
And then after the game is released and done, then I start like, I made a new game, do you want to play it? And then it's like the excitement of like watching other people play it, because like I know I made something good because I focused on making something already satisfying to play. And that's then a game that I can say I'm proud of and like recommend to people.
So you're not thinking much of that while you're working? Sorry, maybe that's...
No.
Interesting. Okay. Are you not... Okay, I'm gonna keep prying about this. So are you not often like imagining... Let's say you design a fun segment. Yeah. Aren't you like imagining, it will be so cool when I see someone else play this segment or something like that?
No.
Okay, interesting.
No. I'm just looking at the segment, seeing like if it's fun to me, if the target audience I'm making it for will find it enjoyable, which is most of the time just needle players. And like coming up with like ideas to like maybe impress them specifically. But in a sense, I am thinking about those people because I'm making it for people who are gonna play it. But I'm not thinking about like the broader audience, like, everyone's gonna play this. I can't wait for the reaction of like, streamer A, streamer B. Like that's not in my head.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. Is there any game then that you made that you are particularly proud of?
I think that would have to go to wait, what's the name of the game? I want to gain the ability, right? That was my second adventure game that I've ever made. It was also for the tourney, and it's a solo project. I think it turned out like really, really good. Not having the sole focus on like needle. I think the final stage leans more into like the needle, like gimmick needle aspect, because I couldn't help myself. But
yeah,
for the most part, it's like exploring some like abandoned place and like encountering some bosses here and there, even some mini bosses. It was to me quite the change to work on something kind of cohesive. For a change, whereas like needle games, the visuals and like the transition from stage to stage like don't really matter. Like the main focus is the platforming and how fun it is, how well it flows. Like for adventure games, you want to make sure that it doesn't feel disconnected.
So when you designed it, because it's still a game with mostly platforming, right, with some bosses in between.
Yeah.
But you had like a different mindset then, would you say, when you designed the platforming?
No, for sure. Okay. Like I tried to have it be so like people who don't have like a lot of needle experience wouldn't just drop the game due to like some obscene jumps that they couldn't get past. I tried to focus on like including other type of obstacles. In the first stage, it was like enemies that would like shoot at you, and you had to like kind of dodge your projectiles, shoot them to like open the path. Hit a switch to like remove spikes. We had some like ladder platforming, so it was more varied in terms of like the obstacles you had to jump through, instead of just another spike jump followed by another spike jump.
Yeah, I guess you would probably agree that your typical style is like very flowy, fast-paced needle.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's the most satisfying to me.
Yeah. And I guess on that note, who would you say, if you were to pick another maker in the community, who you think your style most resembles, who would you say?
Yeah, I guess I'd have to go with Egg.
Really? Okay.
Their games have been like the closest to what I'm trying to achieve. The game they have collaborated on with Emanating, which is called I Want to Conquer the Flow Game 2, kind of gave me like the final push towards this like just fully commitment towards the genre, because like this is like peak essentially. Like you have a screen.
Yeah.
You have like a screen, and like you have to fully commit to like the attempt. There's no like resting spots. What also helped with this were the implementations of single time use platforms in 2.5. I'm really pushing like, please, just like for everyone to use this, because like it's so much more fun having to think about designing a save where like the player is forced to do everything in one motion, rather than like taking these breaks, and like no one likes to like spam on a platform on the ceiling. Like it's you know.
Yeah.
And this game really encapsulated that idea, turning it like it's a little bit more learny than what I would design. Like there's a lot of like invisible triggers and like back and forth, but like it's not a difficult game to learn. So it strikes a nice balance between being like too much and just right.
Yeah.
And yeah, also like Volatile Presence, for example, goes in that same direction. It was a little too hard. I still didn't beat it, but yeah, I guess it would. Yeah, it's Egg for me.
Yeah, cool. And yeah, I was also gonna ask about that. Like, so you probably prefer making platforming that, like, in theory is sort of sight readable. Like you can.
Yeah, ideally. As for DLDC, that was like the same thought process. I really wanted to make a shell stage because, you know, Kaiser ROM hacks they have that same kind of idea where like you just kind of keep going, and making shell gameplay just yeah felt too fun of an opportunity not to do. But the problem was that like I obviously knew how the save went and like what you had to do, where to throw the shells, but it was way too confusing. So I tried to come up with the perfect indicator to like, it's not too much. Like I don't want to like put a sign on like every single jump you have to make, or you should double jump here, you should shoot here. That'd be visual clutter. So you gotta like find the right balance between communicating enough but not too much.
Yeah.
And I still wouldn't call the stage like sight readable, but
for me it was. I don't know if you watched it. It was
it
was smooth sailing all from start to finish. If you were to design, and this is sort of making maybe a drastic jump here. If you were to design your dream game, have you ever like thought about that? Like, what would this sort of ideal Fangame be like, that you could imagine making? Or actually, like, imagine that you had no limitations in terms of time and like ability to program. What kind of game would you make?
Oh, oh god. Okay. I don't know if people are gonna know this, and I'm just gonna name this as an example because this was one of my favorite games growing up. for the PlayStation 2 called Vex, VEXX.
Okay.
There might be many more games that have this kind of concept, but it would be a game where you start off in kind of like a hub, and you have all these doors, right? But like only like the first two doors will be available to you at the start, and each door leads to like a world, like its own separate world that you can explore, and you need to like find some sort of like collectible in, and some of these collectibles might be related to you climbing to the top of a mountain, doing like a platforming challenge, and you get it at the top. Another might be like some sort of like mini game, like hit the targets, something that fits to the world, right? It's not just randomly put together, but like something that works with the environment. So you have all these like little high challenges, and like, at the end of each one, you get this heart or some sort of collectible. And the more hearts you collect, you put those like into like a big machine in the hub, and that powers more doors. So if you get a certain amount of hearts from the first two worlds, it opens the third and the fourth, and so you slowly progress through the game, unlocking more worlds. And it's never a requirement to like get all the hearts, right? So you have to reach like a minimum amount to maybe unlock the final area, final boss, something like that. And that like sort of like collectathon progression concept, I don't know, it was so exciting to like, you have these doors, right, and you want to know like what's behind this door, like what kind of world, because like each world is pretty vast, like it would take a couple of hours to like fully get everything. There's like some smaller collectibles spread throughout, like some particles that are just like hidden throughout the stage that you can collect. If you collect 100 of those in a single life without dying, it spawns another big collectible. There are like so many ways to really to obtain these progression requirements that I don't know. It was like so creative to me, and it always had me like excited for like what's coming next in the game. And, I've never, since that game, I don't think I've ever played a game that had me that excited to like explore something so vast. Aside from maybe the John area and like TM3 Floor 31.
Of course.
I mean, obviously. I mean, it's no surprise I'm a big fan of those. So like, exploration, collectathon, those are like the genres I'd like to strive for. But making that as a solo project is insane.
It's I mean, it sounds like it would have to be kind of a large game, but on a technical level, like what part of it do you think would be most challenging for you? Is it just like you wouldn't have time to make something that large, or?
At least right now, time would be the biggest concern, especially since, again, I do like doing like collab work or like making something for like an event, and it's hard for me to pass up on those opportunities, so I always just say yes, and I have like a lot of projects I'm working on simultaneously that just leave no room for solo projects. That's the main part. And the second biggest concern would just be visual presentation, because I have like an idea for something in my head, but I can't translate that idea into GameMaker. I can do that with design, with level design, no problem usually, but not with visuals. And I even sometimes struggle to pick like the right song for something.
I mean, I would say in your later games, like you've gotten pretty good at making, very nice looking visuals. Like Explore the Maps comes to mind.
It's gotten better.
Yeah.
But even for those, I usually need some help. Like I ask some friends of mine who are more knowledgeable in like coding, and they make me some particles or some shader that I could never do myself.
Right.
So it's, even in my more successful solo projects, there's always some collab stuff happening behind the scenes. Usually pointed out in the credits. Like, this person made me this shader, this person picked the song, something like that.
Maybe you should just collab with those people then and make like your one, your magnum opus.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I do like that you mentioned like the structure of the game, because that's sort of like what I've been excited about. When I've been making fangames lately, it's just like finding an interesting structure. Like that's more interesting to me. That the player constantly has new goals, and they have like things they look forward to, and they're excited to explore.
Yeah, exactly.
That's more exciting to me than it's just like a lot of good jumps in a row. Like that's nice, but that doesn't.
That's nice for a needle game. Yeah, but if you wanna realize some, I don't know, some bigger project that focuses like on adventure, because like the exploration part is what keeps you engaged, kind of, right? And keeps has you keep coming back to a game. When you play a good needle game, and like you stop in the middle, like you had fun, right? But you might just kind of forget about it because everything is just like kind of more of the same. But like if there's something you've been like trying to unlock, like world number 7, like you don't have enough hordes for that world, and you've been curious, like, okay, what could come after? It's a game you'll be thinking about, and you want to come back to and see like what lies behind that door.
I think, and this is kind of like depends on how you define needle or adventure, but I think you can have a game like you described with Vex, with that same kind of progression system, and it could have the mini collectibles throughout the stage. But like all the gameplay could be needle, and maybe you would still define it as an adventure game because of the progression and stuff. But that's just like kind of stuff that I think a lot about. Is sort of like, because I kind of I still like designing needle when I make games, and it's something that I'm quite good at. But to make my games more exciting, like I'm thinking way more about those structural and progression components of the game.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's completely normal to like enjoy making something that you're good at. It's like, I keep making needle games. People keep telling me that they're great, so that's
yeah, there you go.
Comforting in a way, right? You want to keep making what you can make.
Yeah.
But on top of that, I really want to try and expand and make them like more memorable, more exciting.
Yeah. When you were making the adventure game that you were talking about earlier, Gain the Ability, right? And I guess, would you say that it felt like stepping outside of your comfort zone, or was it more challenging to design than your typical?
Yeah, for sure. Mainly due to the fact that the game was supposed to have like a couple of boss fights. And those are always a challenge for me to like, because like you talk about structure in a game, but then there's also structure in a boss fight, and you first need to figure out how you want your boss fight to work. Is it like phase 1 and then transitions to phase 2, or does it have like a random collection of attacks, and you just have to drain the HP bar? Is it like an avoidance fully? There's like so many approaches to a boss. And the game uses a couple. Like I don't think any boss is like the other. But yeah, it's like I don't know, a lot more to think about for me.
Yeah.
And obviously attack design, like everything should feel fair and well communicated to the player. So there's like no insta-gips. The transitions have to work. Usually I end up. Like my first build is like the boss has way too much HP. That's a classic, because like you get so used to doing the attacks and maximizing damage that you're like, yeah, okay, this is a good amount of HP. When it's like you could halve it, and like it would still be a challenge. And then I wanted to have other aspects, like instead of just platforming and bosses, I tried to come up with like some puzzles. I think I only have one in the first stage, where it's like you gotta hunt for like a code to like progress. But there's like different scenarios you want to put the player in, right?
Yeah.
To not have it feel repetitive. like after a platforming segment, you have this puzzle you need to figure out, and then it goes to a boss, and then it goes to a different world that might have different rules, or like a new mechanic, like toxic water. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or the main idea I didn't even manage to fully like fledge out. Funnily enough, because like it's about like getting these ability crystals, and in the first world you have this like deadly water that you can't get in. After beating the boss, you get the crystal to gain the ability to swim in the water. Yippee! That was like the only implementation of that idea. Later on, I just have like the second crystal gives you the ability to visit the afterlife, but that's essentially just a stage transition. Like you shoot yourself and then you're in hell. But there's nothing that was done with the mechanic, which I kind of regret. But again, it was like not enough time to make what I wanted. So
I think when you start making things like that you don't normally make, you get an appreciation for other games that do it. Because, like, you know, I don't really make bosses, but like, if I play a boss in a different game, you know, I don't really know like the kind of work and the kinds of decisions that went into it. You know.
Yeah.
And I guess for me, you know, with puzzles, because I've not really designed a lot of puzzles. And then for 2.5, like I started designing puzzle and it was just like a completely new experience. And I realized like a lot of the pitfalls and difficulties and, you know, design decisions that you have to make. So yeah, just sharing some of my experiences with making new stuff. Do you find inspirations in other things besides games, or is it typically? And I guess non-fan games too. Are there like any other video games that have inspired you that you can think of?
Yeah, it's for Fangames. It is mostly just either Fangames or other games. Can't think of anything other than that. One example I mentioned earlier was just Kaizo Mario ROM hacks.
Yeah.
That kind of come close with, you know, being like 2D, having like a lot of gimmicks usually, or like some nice movesets. Other than that, I mean, I think I can come up with more than that at the moment.
No, I mean maybe the answer is just not really, like, you know.
Yeah,
Makes
I mean,
sense.
I guess other platformers sometimes, but yeah.
And what about other? Do you have other creative outlets? Do you like make other things? Do you make music? Do you knit? Do you do things?
I mean, does video editing count? I don't know.
Yeah, why not?
It's also just like, you know, piecing something, or like making something entertaining out of like 4 hours, 5 hours of footage, like cutting out the boring stuff and keeping the interesting. Trying to think of like edits that keep the viewers engaged. Also takes a lot of time. So it's like whenever I'm met with like free time, okay, do I use it for making a game? Do I use it for editing video? Do I use it for streaming? And streaming is definitely always the easiest answer because it requires the least amount of work. You just play a game, you talk to people. Making a game and editing videos can be quite draining.
Yeah, more creative.
I currently still have the task of editing the entirety of John. And oops, it's so much. It's
I
so
guess
much.
Multiple people are in that predicament.
I'm still not sure how I want to approach it. Like make it one giant ass video, or like split it into parts. Parts is probably easier because then you have like, if you take smaller steps to achieve something bigger, it's easier than to do the whole task at once.
Yes.
Which is good for like solo projects too. You always want to like set yourself like a small goal that you can realistically reach it by the end of the week, instead of thinking about like finishing the project as a whole, because then you're just gonna be scared of like, okay, this is too much.
Oh, absolutely. I wholeheartedly co-sign that. Yeah, just that will be the game making tip of the day.
Hell yeah.
We're almost done. I guess there's one, burning question that I haven't asked yet, that I kind of was saving for last, which is, are you working on anything right now? And I guess you semi-answered that. You said you might be, you might have said yes to a couple collabs.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm always working on something, pretty much. The answer is always yes. It's some are like smaller entries to like collabs. Some are whole games, smaller games though, that are for events. There's the huge solo project that I wanna eventually just finish, even if it's outdated.
Yeah.
Right. Just like finalize it, and you can like always publish it with like the like a README that explains that this was made like.
I don't think you should do that. Like, you don't have to make excuses for your game.
That's it.
Well, I mean, you do you, but you should be proud.
Yeah.
I'm sure people will like the game.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I've shown it to a couple and they said it looks okay. So.
Oh, okay.
maybe. And then the Vex thing. I mean, that's not started, but that's just something I've been thinking about recently. I have like a prototype of it in I Wanna Maker, not published, but it's there. So
wow. All right.
I'm working with someone on it to like see what we can think of.
Yeah. And the things that you're working on, is there anything that you're like really excited about? Do you feel like you're pushing your limits as a maker with anything you're making?
From the current projects?
Yeah.
I mean, the Vex thing would be the only example I can think of. All the other games are things that are like in my comfort zone that I know I can make.
Okay.
So nothing groundbreaking there, but yeah, the big project would go in that direction for sure.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for answering my questions.
Yo.